It was a stormy night and Emma was home alone for the first time in her new house. She tried to distract herself by watching TV, but every creak of the old house made her jump. As the wind howled outside, she heard a faint scratching noise coming from above. Ignoring it at first, she turned up the volume on the TV, but the scratching grew louder, more persistent. Curiosity mixed with dread, Emma grabbed a flashlight and cautiously climbed the stairs to the attic. The attic was dark and musty, filled with old boxes and forgotten memories. She scanned the room with her flashlight, heart pounding, and then she saw it, a shadowy figure huddled in the corner. Frozen in fear, Emma couldn't move. The figure seemed to be whispering something unintelligible. She wanted to run, but her body refused to obey. Suddenly, the figure lurched forward, revealing its grotesque face contorted in pain. Emma screamed and stumbled backward, tripping over a box and crashing to the floor. As she scrambled to her feet, she heard the sound of footsteps coming closer and closer. With a surge of adrenaline, she bolted down the stairs and out of the house, never looking back. Jamie was home alone, studying for her final exams. She had always been afraid of the dark, but tonight she had to stay up late to finish her assignment. As the clock struck midnight, she heard a faint tapping on her bedroom window. She froze, her heart racing. Slowly, she turned to look, expecting to see a branch blowing in the wind. Instead, she saw a pale face pressed against the glass, its eyes wide and unblinking. Jamie let out a strangled cry and stumbled backward, knocking over her chair. The figure outside didn't move, just continued to stare at her with an eerie intensity. Jamie reached for her phone, fingers trembling as she dialed 911. But before she could speak, the figure vanished into the darkness. Terrified, Jamie barricaded herself in her room, waiting for the police to arrive. When they finally did, there was no sign of anyone outside, but Jamie couldn't shake the feeling that whoever had been at her window was still out there, watching and waiting. Lucas was home alone, bored and restless. His parents were out of town for the weekend, leaving him to fend for himself. He decided to pass the time by playing video games in the living room. As he played, his phone rang. Glancing at the caller ID, he saw that it was his own number calling. Confused, he answered, only to be met with static on the other end. He shrugged it off as a glitch and went back to his game. But then his phone rang again, and again, each time displaying his own number. Growing more unnerved with each call, Lucas finally decided to investigate. He grabbed a baseball bat from the closet and cautiously made his way through the house. The calls continued, each one more frantic than the last. Finally, he reached the basement where the calls seemed to be coming from. With a trembling hand, he pushed open the door. Inside, he found nothing but darkness and silence. And then, just as he was about to turn back, he heard a voice whispering his name from the shadows. With a cry of fear, Lucas fled the house, leaving behind the phantom phone calls and the terror that lurked within. As the stories come to an end, the reader is left with a lingering sense of unease. Home is supposed to be a place of safety, but these tales serve as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying things can happen when we're alone.